If you want to get the ball rolling in a conversation in Spanish, when I'm in a crowd and I'm trying to make my way through a crowd and it's tight, got to know when to use one or the other. Now, y tú is what I call a trigger phrase. But technically, all you have to do is know the locations or the places that you're talking about in Espanol, and you can put that in place of. But the one thing I want you to take away from this video today is, imagine walking into an establishment in a Spanish-speaking country and instantly connecting. In this video, I'm going to go through 25 of the most commonly used phrases and give you a little extra information to help you remember some of the more challenging ones. But the one thing I want you to take away from this video today is understanding when to use these phrases, expressions, and questions. Also, make sure you check out the description below so that you can get my free PDF of a condensed cheat sheet for you to become a better Spanish speaker. Oh, by the way, if you're joining me for the first time, soy Profe Don Omar, and I've been teaching Spanish for over 23 years. And if you want to find out the easiest and most effective ways to acquire Spanish, then you've come to the right place. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can get the creative ways to develop all of your Spanish language skills. Now, let's get back to today's lesson. So instead of giving you all 25 at one time, which that could be, kind of overwhelming, I decided to break these down into 6 categories. So category numero uno, we're talking about greetings and farewells. Coming in at number 1, we've got the most popular word that most people know in Espanol, which is hola. This is the most effective way to start a conversation, and you've got to remember that in Espanol, the H's are silent. Now, from a real life perspective, if you want to get the ball rolling in a conversation in Spanish, make sure you use hola and watch how the conversation unfolds right before your eyes. Coming in at numero 2, tenemos buenos días. We use buenos días to greet people in the morning and to start your day on a positive note. Coming in at numero 3, tenemos buenas tardes. Similar to buenos días, but we use this in the afternoon. Entonces ahora tenemos hola, buenos días, y buenas tardes. All right, let's keep it moving. Número 4, tenemos buenas noches. We use buenas noches when the day is winding down and the night is about to come upon us. Oftentimes, people will start using buenas noches. However, some people still use buenas tardes all the way into the night. Weird situation, I know, but that's actually a situation that could take place. So we use buenas noches to say good evening and to show a little bit of respect and courtesy. También podemos usar buenas noches como una despedida. We can use buenas noches as a farewell as well. It would simply mean good night. Now, getting into our farewells, I'm not going to bombard you with a lot of them, so I'm just going to give you 2 effective ones that I like to use and a lot of people like to use. So we've got a more relaxed way to say goodbye in a situation. We have hasta luego. Very casual and is not a permanent goodbye. However, on the other hand, tenemos adios, which is also commonly known as the most popular phrase to say goodbye, and it's more of a definitive goodbye. Let's move into our second category. Aquí tenemos expresiones de cortesía. We've got to remember our manners, right? So coming in at número 1, tenemos por favor. Using por favor will make any request courteous. Coming in at número 2, we still got to remember our manners. So we're going to use gracias, which is thank you. And it shows how we express gratitude in Espanol. Coming in at número 3. When you want to tell somebody you're welcome, puedes usar de nada. De nada significa you're welcome in Espanol. Número 4. Tenemos perdón. Usa perdón to excuse yourself or to catch someone's attention in a conversation in a polite way. Continuing with our courtesy expressions, we've got número 5, which is con permiso. Now this is a bonus. I thought I'd throw this in for you because we can use perdón, but I like to use con permiso when I'm in a crowd and I'm trying to make my way through a crowd and it's tight. And then you can always use con permiso, which is just like saying excuse me or perdón. But con permiso is like basically saying, can I pass, basically. Con permiso. Y número 6, in this category, tenemos lo siento, when we want to apologize for making a mistake. Using lo siento is going to help show humility and respect. In our third category, tenemos preguntas comunes, or common questions that you can use to get information or to ask about certain things. Coming in at number 1 in this section, tenemos ¿Cómo estás? This is something that I often follow up with hola, right? Or buenos días, or buenas tardes, or buenas noches. We kind of follow up with ¿Cómo estás? This shows that you have a genuine interest in finding out how somebody is doing. And it makes the conversations more personable. Coming in at número 2, tenemos y tú. Now, y tú is what I call a trigger phrase. Y tú is basically how you trigger somebody to give you the same information without having to ask the question that they asked in the beginning. For example, somebody says, ¿Cómo estás? You don't have to turn around after you answer it and say, Estoy bien, gracias. ¿Cómo estás? Instead of just repeating the question, you can hit them with the trigger phrase that I like to call y tú, which simply means and you. So essentially, y tú can be used at any point in time, and it just helps to keep the conversation going. Coming in at número 3, tenemos, ¿Dónde está el baño? Now, I know a lot of us know this from when we first took Spanish in elementary school, middle school, or high school, ¿Dónde está el baño? But technically, all you have to do is know the locations or the places that you're talking about in Espanol, and you can put that in place of el baño. ¿Dónde está? And then fill in the blank. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? ¿Dónde está el banco? ¿Dónde está el centro comercial? These are just places that you add in lieu of el baño. So ¿dónde está? Probably is the more important part right here. Coming in at número 4, tenemos ¿habla inglés? Now, this is the question when you kind of run out of all the things that you know in Espanol, and then you need to jump in and say, hey, all right, I'm tapping out. ¿Habla inglés? This is when you want to see if somebody can switch over into English to help continue the conversation. Habla inglés. Coming in at número 5, this is super important if you're a person that likes to shop or bargain or buy things. ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta simply means how much does something cost? And this is going to help you find out the price of anything. ¿Cuánto cuesta? Coming in at number 6, tenemos la pregunta, ¿qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Of course, when they give you the response, you're going to need to know your numbers, or you need to know how to tell time in Spanish. Not that difficult, but at least they might show you their watch or their phone or what have you. So remember, ¿qué hora es? Y número 7, en esta categoría tenemos ¿cómo se llama o cómo te llamas? Got to know when to use one or the other. ¿Cómo se llama? In situations when you don't necessarily know the person exactly, you don't have a familiar relationship with them, we're going to use ¿cómo se llama? Even if we're talking to somebody older or somebody we want to show respect to, ¿cómo se llama? But if you're in a relaxed setting, you're amongst some friends and family of some people that you know that speak Spanish, you can use ¿cómo te llamas? This is going to help you find out a person's name. ¿Cómo se llama? O como te llamas. All right, in this category, we've got respuestas or answers. This is the simple, easy part of answering some of those questions that we talked about in the previous category. Coming on at number 1, tenemos estoy bien, gracias. Estoy bien, gracias. Simply responding to the question, ¿cómo estás? We're using estoy bien, gracias. I'm well, or I'm good, thank you. Of course, they taught us in English class. I don't even know if that matters because that was English. So, they tell us not to say I'm good or I'm well. We're supposed to use I'm well. Don't think that matters here. Estoy bien, just know it's the response. When you feel good about yourself, estoy bien, gracias. How you're doing and asking about your well-being. Coming in at número 2, en esta categoría tenemos sí. Now, this is one of those things that people kind of know and don't know. I don't know. But sí is going to be super important, which means yes. And the opposite of this word, tenemos no. In Spanish, we can simply use no when we don't agree with something someone said, or when we want to set boundaries or decline something politely. I want to personally thank you for hanging out with me in this video. And if you found value in today's video, make sure to hit that like button and also share this out with somebody that you think would need it. They will appreciate it, and so will I. Now, let's get back to the categories with these top 25 phrases and expressions that you can use in Español. Y número 4, en esta categoría tenemos no entiendo. No entiendo. We use no entiendo when you're lost in a conversation, you're not fully grasping what somebody is saying in Espanol. We can simply say no entiendo, and hopefully they'll either slow down or switch over into Inglés. Or it helps them understand that, oh, this person needs help understanding what I'm talking about. In category number 5, this is super easy and you'll pick up all of these with no problem. Número 1, mi nombre es. Very similar to my name is in English. And it's probably the most formal of the 3 that I'm going to show you today. Mi nombre es. Y número 2, me llamo. Me llamo. Now, a lot of people tell us learning Spanish in the States here, oh, that means my name is. Well, to keep it separate from mi nombre es, which is my name is, me llamo, we're going to think of it as I call myself or I go by, and then whatever your name is. Me llamo. Por ejemplo, me llamo Profe Don Omar. Or me llamo Omar, but you get the point. Coming in at número 3, tenemos soy. Yes, soy. Kind of like soy sauce, right? Soy. Soy en español significa I am. So if somebody says, ¿Cómo te llamas? Or ¿Cuál es tu nombre? I can respond with, Soy Omar. For this next category, category número 6, we're talking about situations when you meet someone. And our first one, coming in at número 1, tenemos encantado o encantada. Encantado o encantada. Now, I was talking with a client this morning, and basically, you've got to understand it's the person that's speaking that's either going to use encantado or encantada. Today's Pro-Fate Power Tip is this. The more reps you get in with these phrases and expressions, the more you will understand when to interject them in conversation. And that's when you start learning how to place them in context. And that means you're also ready to add some more to your plate. All right, so now you're ready to go out here in a Spanish-speaking country and survive and thrive, baby. Yeah, now, I'm not saying that you're going to thrive and survive using just these 25 Spanish phrases and expressions, and they're not going to make you fluent overnight in Spanish, but they will help you become more confident in using some basic expressions in real time. And if you've mastered these Spanish phrases and expressions, and click right here to make the next step in becoming a better Spanish speaker. And I'll see you over there.